Alright guys, we've got a 15-10 game on the board. My opponent's rated 1339 and it's the Reti opening. So I think I'm going to meet that with, I'll go copycat knight f6. See what he does with his pawns. That's not playable. Could play d5. White may play d4. Okay, we have d4. Okay, so this is like this, and then knight out, and then he's met it with f3. Okay, now if I play d5 now, we're in a Petrov. I could go. D5 feels natural. Yep. Okay. So, oh no, this isn't a Petrov. Petrov would be e4, e5. And then these knights out, so it's quite different. Okay, interesting. Right, now c6 seems to be sensible. But again, this is like, just trying to understand it in, I think c6. My opponent is from China. Shulian 333. Okay, so now apparently this is a Slav. So it's like we've done a Queen's Gambit, okay, and then I've responded with c6, okay. So Queen's Gambit declined would be e6. c6 is the Slav defense. Okay, we have two attackers on this pawn, two defenders, so that's okay. Now I'm thinking, might go for a kind of reverse London idea. We're already halfway there. So let's get the bishop out. I'm just putting it here just in case white has ideas of moving the e-pawn, in which case the knight would be pinned against the queen. So I've got maybe ideas of e6, this, and very standard kind of reverse London. Of course the bishop is pointing kind of the wrong way. Normally in the London system, you bring your bishop out to your fourth rank. Alright, so I mean, part of me just wants to drop back and see if he wants to do a second kick. I can always respond to, go back to here, because this is a very nice light square diagonal. There's an awful lot of light squares there. Okay, this is fine. So I've got a couple of options here. One is to sack one of my pieces for two pawns. Right, and that would make life difficult for white to castle. So it's worth consideration. White's unlikely to castle that way anyway. So if I drop here, he can still castle. He doesn't have to go through check to castle that way, but it does very much improve my bishop. So I'm thinking here, now if he wants to push again and be a troublemaker, I can always play knight here as well. Okay, so I'm just going to drop the bishop back. There's no real massive compelling reason to sack a minor piece for two pawns at this point. Let's keep the stuff on the board. And I'm quite encouraged by the fact that white has already thrown quite a few pawns up. So where's he going to find safety for his king? That is the question. Okay, now. Okay, so the knight's come in. He really wants my bishop, doesn't he? Really wants a piece of that bishop. So I could come here now, threaten this rook, right? And if knight takes, I've got knight takes. So how does my knight look on there? This guy's gone, this guy's gone. I'm quite happy with that. And one reason is that I've got a light squared pawn structure. So this is slightly sacrificial, this bishop right now, I'm thinking. Now he might just play f3, in which case he's just messed up his pawns yet again. He's made 4 pawn moves in 7 moves. Okay, he's done it. So I'm just going to slide back. Slide back here, and if he wants to take with a knight, so be it. I'll recapture with the h-pawn. And they know kingside castling for you, my son. Huh. So what has happened? That's become undefended. Okay. So queen b6 is thematic. Also looking at this pawn which is defended only by the queen. If you want to capture that, I mean I could, or I could actually knight. How about knight b to d7? I quite like that idea. So now if he takes with the bishop, so I've just developed a piece, you see. I had not a problem, but he's put a question to me, you know. What if bishop takes knight? Okay, well, what if bishop takes knight? Let's just simply replace the knight with the spare knight, and I get to develop, and it doesn't block off my queen. So I'm still looking at this idea. And he can't put his queen there or there because of my bishop. So he'd have to play queen there, or move his rook, in which case he can't castle pretty much at all. This really does feel like one of those games where my opponent is leaning too far forward, you know. He's pressing too hard, but without significant compensation or reason. So queen here, if takes, it's fine. Takes, this is all good. Rook here. Could even take back with the knight. And then threaten f6 with a pawn fork on knight. And in fact, moving the knight with ideas of the pawn fork is no bad thing. Could have done that on the previous move, couldn't I? Didn't think of that. It won't. So if I'd move my knight here, then he's got to do something. Huh, okay. So he's attacking my b pawn. Okay, I've got this, now, how about knight b6? It does kind of pin the knight, and then what if he pushes c5, yeah? That's a problem. If I take his knight, he takes back. I've got pawn attacking my knight then, and then I've still got queen attacking this. I've got this. I think that's okay. Yeah. So if pawn takes there, I've got knight takes or pawn takes. He's got 3 attackers on that pawn. I've got 2 defenders. So I think he could have just taken that pawn, right? He had an overwhelm on that. But now he's taken the queen. So, options now. Knight takes. Can't proceed. Or pawn takes and open up the A file. Then I'd be thinking about getting this bishop out. I kind of like pawn takes. I'm going for the pawn. Okay, so now e6, develop my bishop, castle my king probably. And then I really want to take advantage of this mess that he's got. He's created a lot of space in his own half of the board. Yeah, so he's got, essentially he's got, you know, an idea of space on my side. Right, I'm going to capture inwards. That's a no-brainer, really. Now the queens are off the board, I don't have to be too concerned about king safety in the same way. I've now captured inwards twice. So I have a mass of pawns. All of my pawns are now, I've got 8 pawns still, and they're in 6 files. Whereas my opponent has his pawns still on 8 files. The other difference is he still has a light squared bishop, whereas I have a pair of knights. Okay, so he has the bishop pair. So for example, if he takes there, I probably want to take with a knight. Okay. Another pawn move. Curious. Okay. So I'm thinking about busting things open. Let's have a think about this. Pawn takes and pawn takes. This knight is mobile, isn't, you know, but it hasn't really got anywhere to go. Could go here and try and hit the bishop, but it's not an ideal looking bit of pasture for a knight, is it? If he takes here, might take back with the knight. Could even push the pawn forwards. Push the pawn forwards. Yeah. Allows this bishop to come out and actually pins this guy, which is no bad thing. Particularly if we're going to have action on e4. But material is equal. Okay, he's pushed. Alright, so I have two options. Simply here. Because then what I can do is I can push f6. So his bishop's probably going to run away. I'd imagine he can't defend with this, so he can't push that one. Because if I take, he takes, he loses a rook, okay? He could defend by pushing f4. We know how much he likes pushing his pawns up the board. So that's a thought. But then I capture, and then he has to capture towards the outside, right? And well, what I'm threatening here is c5 takes. Again, I capture towards the center. And he could end up with quite a fractured pawn structure. Whereas I'm looking quite entrenched right now. Still want to engage my bishop for sure. This is fine, I'm not worried about that. So I've got bishop takes. Curious times. So I was hoping to be able to whip out my anti-London new idea, but it wasn't to be today. Okay. What's he going to do? So what would you like? You know, who would you like to be in this situation? Let's have a look from the other side of the board. Let's walk round the board. If I'm white here. Okay, so I'm thinking black's got control of the A file. Prevents this. Black's just got a whole mass of pawns, yeah? So how would I get through? How would I want to attack? Okay, so the bishop's retreated all the way back here. Okay. No worries. And that actually would break the pin on the knight. So one option is this. It's attacking an undefended pawn, right? If he takes, I'm just going to go for that. I don't see, well, okay. One counter argument is this. That I undefend b5. Then his knight's going to want to come in and maybe harass my king, but then I just stick my king here, yeah? Or do I come here, try and eliminate the knight? We do have some blockage in the middle of the board, which probably favours knights over bishops a bit. I still haven't developed my bishop. And here's another idea. Bishop to here, causing trouble. Okay, well let's think about that one. Also gives my knight another square. So here, check, the king will have to move there or there. Huh. Now the knight is the only defender of that, because the rook's now moved, okay? This is what I'm working on. Just telling the story of the board. It's not rocket science, mates. Okay, here we go. So pawn push. Yes, it gives up this, but if he does that, he drops a pawn. And if he comes in and checks, I just shoo him away. Right, so this knight is the only defender of that. the bishop is the only defender of that. That is undefended. That is undefended. This is not bad. So with all this, you know, new stuff that's come to light, all right. So if he takes me, I've got 3 pieces. If I take, he looks like he's saying he wants to recapture with the bishop. However, kind of inclined to, I want to get my rooks involved. This forces a trade, doesn't it? Or he's got f4. Or knight in here, looking at that, might force f4. If he pushes, I go in here. Nothing gives really. That bishop takes. Now, I don't really want to initiate that because I don't want to isolate these pawns. However, on the plus side, I'm clearing the c-file to a degree. And opening up a line for my bishop. I'm going to pull this one. I think f4 is, you know, this is not all going to be in his favour if he pushes that. He can even come around the back. Or I could just come back here. If he ever takes here, I'm going to recapture probably with the b pawn anyway. If I take there, bishop takes. No. Yes, this is what to be expected. If I take, bishop can't take now because that, right? If I take, he takes me, I take his bishop. If I take, he might retreat the bishop. No, and then I'm, right, if I take here, he's got to do something because I'm attacking 2 pieces. So either he takes with the bishop or he takes with a rook. If he takes with a rook, who's better? No, I've still isolated these pawns as well, haven't I? So I'm going to retreat to here again. I could still castle if I want to engage my h-rook. Maybe, I don't know, doubling up? Maybe not. I'm a minute behind on the clock. We have an increment. Definitely, 100% makes you play better, having an increment. Okay, I'm thinking knight round here is interesting. That puts 2 attackers on there. If he's still going to carry on throwing pawns up, he can. He doesn't want to capture. Ooh, he's captured there. Ah, he's got a bit of a... Okay, I'm going to take here. Because now he's going to have to do something. Now I can pin the knight on the king. And then I can take back here, yeah? Also, if the knight moves, this drops. I'd really want to use my other rook, but I can't. Okay. This, bishop here, rook's going to have to move, and he's going to have to move there or there to defend the bishop. Does he take the pawn? Probably doesn't know. But if I go here, he might just grab another pawn, eh? Okay, I'm going to come up. I'm going to attack the rook. Maybe lift the king. Rook hc8. Attack this. Try and make use of the pinned knight. If I do pin the knight. So he's got to defend this bishop as well. You see, so he's going to have to play that or that. don't think he's going to take the pawn. Loses a rook, gets a bishop, I take pawn. Okay, now, question. Do I want to take the bishop? I don't think I do. What I think I want to do is lift the king, but then is he going to play this? Now this is interesting. This is one interesting position. If I take here, rook can't take because I get the bishop with check. If I take here and knight takes, bang, I get that. Right, I'm having it. He's down to 8 minutes 40. This game is a 5-11 for me. Really would not like to lose it. Another idea here as well is simply to castle. That's quite interesting. But the board is starting to open up, which is going to favour the guy with the bishop pair. This is a threat, however. No, it's not really. Bishop takes. Okay. Now, if knight takes, I'm threatening the rook. Rook's going to take the pawn. Knight's defended. I'm going to take, I think I want to take the pawn. Just think. He's giving up the bishop pair, which is a good thing for me. He's going to win a pawn out of it. I've got to engage this other knight. I also want to engage my rook. If knight takes, rook takes. Knight here. No. Ah, gone then, I'm taking the pawn. Then I might just castle. I can't because the rook would take my knight then. I actually kind of want my pawns on light squares, I think, to shut this guy down. Okay. Right, rook's defending that. If I go there, it's attacked twice, isn't it? Good, can't do it. And I can't castle straight away. I might just have to do this. Or should I just put the rook there? I think I like the rook there. Could push this if he pushes. I come here. Then I castle. Don't think he should have given up the bishop pair. I think that was his big advantage. So although I'm pawn down now, I'm a little happier. Oh! He's pinned my knight. Okay, I can defend with the rook one or two ways. I can also defend with the other knight. And then think about activating my king. Defend with the rook. I think king e7, maybe rook here. Makes some sense. Knight can come round this way, that's not bad. Takes, takes, takes. And I'm kind of in. Fascinating situation. Ooh, he's added another one. Right, well, there's nothing for it. He's undefended h3. Right, he's now attacking this pawn, which I can defend. Or I can just push. Oh, but then his knight comes here, so I think I need to do that. 1, 2, 3 attackers, 1, 2, 3 defenders. h3 still hangs. He's a fighter, I'll give him that. Ooh, okay, I'm not too worried, I think this is okay. Can't go there, I'll take him. Yeah. h3 still hangs. He's starting to move a bit quicker now. So we moved quite quick in the start. We've spent a bit more time in this kind of middle game ending. And now he's starting to feel maybe the clock ticking. He can't push h4 because he loses the pawn anyway, and then that's even better for my rook. This is hairy. Now my knight is also unpinned, it must be noted. Something like this takes, or knight takes, not sure. It's definitely a slightly convoluted tactical situation. He can defend the pawn with bishop or rook there or rook there. He's got a few moves. Just depends how important he thinks it is. I like the fact that my rook gets out into the game. I'm thinking about this as well. So let's say he shouldn't put his rook there. I think this is a better move. Because I can come in now and think about attacking the rook. He can't go there. Rook takes. So now I'm kind of banking on the hope that I can think a bit quicker than my opponent. I was a minute behind on the clock. He's now a minute behind on the clock. And he's going to have to find a way to checkmate me. Key thing with the increment is not to rush. Don't panic, don't rush. That's attacked once, now defended 3 times because he's actually blocked it with his own knight. See, this move, knight d6, he made that in 14 seconds. Wow. Okay, so he's defending with the bishop. Okay. Now I'm thinking no-brainer. Knight here. If he pushes the pawn, I take. He might take. I come here with a knight. Right, it's attacking my rook. I go here. He goes there, I go there. Bishop, now he's got a piece that's tied up defending a pawn. That's not ideal. Also, I have this, attacking his rook. So if he comes here attacking me, I can grab a pawn, right? He takes my rook, I take his rook, he takes my knight. I'm a knight down. I'd like to get that move in if I can, even if the pawn advances. Pawn advances, takes, bang. Then I've got 2 attackers on h3 as well, that's cool. I've even got a check possibly. Okay, he's done it. There, here, and my knight now controls the square, right? It's actually a rectangle in this case, but this rook that is under a... Oh, no, he can't take there because I take the rook. Okay, so he loses. Yeah? So this rook that is under attack now, it can't take here, but also it can't defend the pawn that's now attacked twice because my knight's also covering that. Always nice. So now I'm threatening to take this pawn and be 2 pawns up. Am I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, not 2 pawns up at all. Equal. But first he's got to resolve this problem. Now he can push forwards. That's fine. Okay, he has. He's not attacking that. I'm not worried about that. I can take, whatever. Could take this pawn. Should I do that? Could get my knight pinned, but then... So if I go there and he goes rook here... No, I can't take his rook. I go there, he pins. I've got to defend the knight. He goes there, how do I defend the knight? Push f6. Seems legit. And also the knight is now defending this d7 square. Quite happy about that, I think that's okay. You see, if you immediately snatch out at the most obvious move, you miss stuff. There's nearly always a better move. You know, we rarely play the best move. Yeah, so now this. And now I'm attacking this pawn again, but no, it can't move forwards. Now this knight is now tied to the defense of the rook. There. He's got bishop and rook attacking. Also, this knight is actually pinned. Currently he's pinned, so he can't move. This guy can't move, right? This guy can't move. I'm threatening to capture this pawn and go a pawn up. So I can't play knight here either. That's not allowed. Pinned. It's down to 3 minutes now, and I've got 6. I've managed to complicate things enough. Takes. If bishop takes, rook takes. That would give me joy. Okay. You go there, I'm taking you, so... Also, if bishop takes, I've got actually even an in-between move with a check. So let's do that. Don't think I'm worried about this rook. He goes there, just trade it off. And I've got a pair of pawns and a pair of pawns. What he's got... Okay, now, that I think was bad, because now I get a rook. Because the bishop was guarding d3. No, I don't, because my knight is still pinned. Bugger it. Okay, so it wouldn't even let me play that move if I wanted to. Alright, I've got to take the bishop. Okay. So now I'm actually a pawn up. Hooray! Hooray, hurrah for me! Now what I want to do is move his kingness. Or here. Something like that, and threaten this. Knight fork. 2 minutes 36. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And now you're boring because I've beaten you. Never think you've beaten your opponent until you shake hands, or virtually. Simon Williams said that. And the boy speaks some sense. Sometimes. If I go here, can you go here? So what I want to do now is I want to be playing complicating moves. My knight is also attacking that, so if I go here... Oh, yeah. Right, check this out. So if I move my king out, so I unpin my knight, I've got 2 threats, that and that. Right, now what he wants to do is put his rook there, defended by the knight and covering that square, but I can do it anyway, because if he takes, I take his rook. Huh. If I go here, right, and he checks me, then I play knight there, check. Is that stupid? If I go here and he checks me, I take his rook. Ha! If I go here and he goes there, I take his rook with my knight, with my rook, and he takes back. And if I go here, and he goes here, ha! You do you? Okay, so now if I go here, he can't take the pawn because I take his knight. So I'm going to move quickly, or do I just drop back? No, if I drop back, he's got rook here, then I take his knight. No, I'm going to go here. I'm threatening his knight now. He might go here, in which case my king moves out of the way. Okay, I'm going to go there then. Yeah? Now, he might get greedy and do this, in which case I might jump straight in and do that. Haha! Now, check, or win a rook, he takes rook, I get a knight. Or check, king moves, and it can't be there or there really. Let's. Oh, hang on, which is best? I've got time. Think it through, and come on. Check. Bless you. King goes there or there. I take the rook with check, king takes back. Then I can't win that. Although this wins a piece outright, yeah? What does this do? This wins the exchange. This wins a knight. If I take that and he goes here, I just take. Okay, right, so, sold. His last move, 5.1 seconds. Really interesting, wasn't it? To map the accuracy of moves to... Okay, I'm taking the knight, yeah. So now I'm up a full knight. And I have this. Okay, I'm unconcerned. But I'm going to have a think because it merits some thought. Okay, a centralised knight makes perfect sense. Here, Morgan, you can help me. You can help me. Yes, Daddy, I'm going to shove my face up your nose. Okay. So king here, if pawn takes, I've got that. I've also got check. Yep, that really doesn't help. I don't need your face up my nose. We've been through this. Now, if he attacks my rook, no. See, this is why no one likes you, because you're over affectionate. Okay, I've got to be careful here. Okay, I have another check, and I always have king here. So I'm making this bugger think. Okay, now, king there. So I'm using the clock against him. I know that's not a mistake. I know that he can't... Okay, now. Morgan. Okay, my knight's defending the rook, so I can't take this pawn. So I think... Okay, he's resigned. Cool! Well. Interesting. Shall we see if there's a lesson in it? There's always a lesson. Let's go find a lesson. Yeah, you could have made me lose there. And then I would have turned you into a little pouch. .68 accuracy, 3 blunders from me, 4 blunders from him, and a missed win both ways. So yeah, look at this. So he got an early advantage. He had a massive advantage in the middle game, and then buggered everything up. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, bookity, book. Fair enough. Book. Inaccuracy. Wanted me to take the pawn. Okay. But I didn't. So I did that, he did that. Which is okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Ooh, mistake. It didn't like that at all. Right, why? What didn't it like and what was better? It's just saying I should have developed, which I kind of did later. But it has white +3 there. Damn. Okay, so there. Great move. Retreat. That's a mistake. Well, he's kind of walking into a potential pawn fork. Best move. Inaccuracy. Best. Good. Yes, yes. Right, so at this point in the game, we are kind of even. White's slightly better. That's okay. That's best. Good. Blunder. Says we should have traded pieces. So bishop takes knight, I guess. And that's a blunder. I missed an opportunity to trade pieces. Okay. Right, opening up the middle of the board. Still with castling rights. I could have put my rook on here. So d takes e4 would have given me a severe advantage. Okay. Excellent move. Excellent. And now we're equal again. And that's a mistake. Could have won material. How? Okay, let's see. What did I miss? Well, how's that winning material? Because the bishop recaptures. Explain. Oh, I don't know. That's all just computerish. See, a human would probably just have recaptured straight away, yeah? Okay, anyway. So it's not the sharpest game in the world. I missed an opportunity to trade pieces. Now, did we consider that move? I think I tried to play it later, didn't I? So I retreated first, then he takes, then I take. Okay. But white is here +5. And that's okay, but not best. Now I pin the rook. Mistake. Saying there was a discovered attack. Ignores an opportunity to reveal an attack. What was I... Oh! Huh. But then I take rook, yeah? Apparently not. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. So let's see. Where's my biggest blunder? It looks like this. Okay. F5 is a mistake. Captures is a blunder. White goes from +1.29 to +4.99. Okay. Why? This is the lesson I need to learn. Knight there is a straight up fork. But then what if pawn takes? Pawn takes just to win the rook. So he's got to do something with this rook, and probably that. Then I take, do I? Let's see. No, he checks. Okay. Huh. And white's still +1-ish. Right, so... G takes F... Hang on. Okay, so capturing here is a blunder. My knight's under attack, and I should have gone here and attacked the rook. Rook can't take there. What? Why? Why is that so much better? I mean, suddenly, white is now an awful lot better because of Getting picked apart by the knight. This is a tricky one. Because I think he played that knight move later on anyway. But yeah, I don't get it. Here's another blunder. You know, if you can't figure out why something is the way it is, then maybe you're just not ready. Oh, it hated this. Why? Ah. Right, yeah. Remember I said I can always put my king here, but I missed rook takes knight. That is eliminating the defender of the rook. The rook takes knight. If I capture his rook, I lose mine. Yes. So that was... Okay, that is a tactic I understand. Okay? So, need to remember that. So that, the best move here was... Okay, got it. Drop the rook back as another defender to the knight and get out of danger. Good move, good move. Well, that one I can remember. Okay, so there you go, guys. Nice, interesting little game. I think, looking at the graph, I was pretty lucky to come out of that one alive. But that's chess, you know. It's mostly psychology. Isn't it, sweetheart? Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Nice little grind there against the 1335. And an opening that I'm not terribly familiar with the Slav. But hey, there we go. Lots of fun. Thanks for watching. See you later.